So, sample one.
Okay, I think I know where you're going with this.
And try to tell me what the difference is on sample two. What is the plugin doing?
Okay, so I'm noticing some kind of a, it's almost like a Dolby setting in NR. This second sample is, I mean, it's still clear, it's just, it's a dampening kind of effect going on. I don't know what exactly it's called that you're doing. But
Okay, so
it's not exactly the same as the first one. Okay, it's putting the drums a little farther back.
okay, so
The
it's
drums
changing.
are not exactly as forward as they were in the first version of it. And then there's some kind of a panning thing going on with. Yeah, because when this song plays, distinctively it has horns in the left. Oh, okay. I just realized what's happening.
Yes, sir.
So it's a back panning. You're throwing it to the back corner because the guitar part.
Yeah.
It's popping away in the back corner, and then you throw it up front to me.
I'm gonna
So
put.
what is this thing called?
Hey, everybody, it's Chris over at Dixieland Farm, and you just saw a small clip of Dave listening to Michael Viner's Incredible Bongo Band, Apache. He knows the music well, and I was using my squeeze pad to play him a sample, and I told him sample one is the song he knows it, and sample two is I'm using a plugin to change something. Of course, I didn't change anything. It was the exact same audio bar. It's the exact same thing. There was no plugin. I just hit pause, and I gave him the idea that something was different. Right, okay. And this is what we were getting into. So there's something called expectation bias. If we're expecting a sound to be different, or anything to be different, that we will start trying to find the differences.
You'll pick it apart.
And the reason is just that, we're in the jungle, right? We need to make snap decisions. We're aggregating a lot of data. We need to try to figure out A from B. Is this thing going to kill us? Is that thing going to kill us? And so we will, as humans, and we cannot undo this. This is just part of our makeup. We will try to find differences between two things if we have the option to, even if they aren't there. And it is not that we are not actually experiencing them. So Dave heard like a weird panning thing. It wasn't that he wasn't even hearing that he was making it up. He heard that, but his mind was making that happen. Yeah. So like a placebo is not just that it's fake. People who take a placebo do experience actual things on the placebo. The second you tell them that it's a placebo, that effect goes away. So if you said this thing will calm you down, their body will actually kind of calm down, usually with the placebo, because you gave the suggestion. So you've got one, expectation that something is different, and two, the power of suggestion. So it's not hypnosis, and it wasn't that Dave wasn't experiencing anything, but the whole point of this is that if you go into something expecting a change, you're most likely expecting a change. So you bought a $200 turntable and then you bought a $2,000 turntable. You will, no matter what, hear a difference, and it will be great. And you will be happy that you spent that $2,000, and your wife will not be happy that you spent $2,000. Exactly. Or if you bought a brand new pair of speakers or a brand new cable or brand new anything, of course it's going to be better. And the only way for you to actually see if it's better is to do a blind test, a double blind test. And who's going to do that? This is a stupid hobby that you're supposed to be enjoying yourself. There are other reasons why you buy more expensive things, why you upgrade, because you want them, because you can afford them, because it's something that you want, it's something that other people have suggested. There's lots of reasons, but does it sound better? The only scientific way of doing it, again, is with a blind test, a double blind test. You don't know between this and that what it is, and to check it out. So, but again, it's a hobby, and who's going to do that? Nobody's going to do that. It's stupid. But if you are under the impression that somebody says it's better and automatically think it's better, well, you may want to save your money. You may want to do a proper test on these things, especially before you start spouting out and saying lots of crazy stuff without actually checking. So, again, Dave did everything right. I was hoping to have a much bigger reaction, but Dave is a little more centered.
Sorry.
But he also knows me too, so we kind of went in thinking maybe something's up, maybe not. So
you got me.
I did want to lead Dave on the test too. Which I did in the video, but you probably didn't see it. I'll probably cut it out. But I did a little bit afterwards. I started prompting him, saying, "Well, this should sound like this," and he didn't buy it, which is good. But that's not a scientific thing either. That he's always going to fall for it. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes the expectation bias doesn't always play in. But you are not immune. Even if you think I have no cards in this, Dave had no cards in whether this came out or not. Test 1, he passed for me. Test 2, he passed for him, right? So it's no guarantee.
It's all good.
Yeah, so you know what I'm getting at. 4 minutes plus whatever that we showed with the other. Then clicking
editing to do there.
You got the idea. So whenever you read these reviews online, you'll often find, especially audiophile magazines or audiophile sites, they will rail against double-blind tests. They'll say that you don't, in the real world, go through double-blind tests. And you know what? You do. When you buy medicine, when you buy things that are important.
That's right.
But what, audio is immune from expectation bias? It isn't.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But the guy selling the $1,000 cable, he might have a dog in this fight that you shouldn't do a double-blind test, and he won't subject his equipment to a double-blind test. But should.
Yeah, he's going to comment on this video.
Exactly, right. So, and you're going to also hear, I know what I know what I heard. I didn't care either way.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Again, if you're expecting a difference, you will hear a difference unless you take you out of the equation.
Right.
And you've got to do this testing several times. Just because you flipped a coin 5 times and you came up heads doesn't mean that you're always going to get heads.
Right.
You got to test lots of times.
Yeah.
Again, who's going to do any of this? Nobody. But something to look out for. All right, everybody. Dave,
Thanks.
Chris, take care of them.